What's up, guys? It's McNulty here. Welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are all doing well. So today is basically the end. I think we have one more day left for the summon for Ingrid, and she is our newest hero in Watcher of Realms. So I want to answer the question today: is she worth dropping all of your ancients for, dropping everything else for? I know that some people have been going crazy, losing their minds, trying to summon for her. You will have seen, if you do watch other channels, that I was featured on a video with Slate where she was going to be summoning for Ingrid. Unfortunately, that ended in, I would say, not misery, but not an Ingrid. And luckily enough, I was able to get her. So I feel like I'm a little bit more qualified to be able to answer this question than some people. So hopefully I will be able to give you guys a little bit of insight if you are still hanging on to these ancient summon crystals and you're not 100% sure. So let's get into it. So we'll just go into Ingrid here. If I can click on her, it always seems to be kind of weird to open up these heroes. There she is. All right, so first of all, she is a dual faction hero and she is a lord. She's a lord for the Watcher faction and the Arbiters as well. And her lord bonus is pretty damn staunch. But the cool thing about her being a lord for the Watcher faction, at least, is that she works really well with Lucius, and he is one of our other newer heroes in the game, and really good in Guild Boss and Guild Boss 2 content as well. And she works really well alongside him. So her Lord bonus, I'll see if I can get it up here. I should be able to. Right, so it says here, she increases the faction team members' basic attributes by 15%. Up until now, I've been working with Ain, who doesn't do it quite as well, unfortunately. I think he gets 10% increase on the Lord bonus, but hers is a lot better. I'll try not to click out of that again. She periodically increases faction team members' damage and healing bonus by 50% for 20 seconds. So that is huge. She increases damage and she increases healing by 50% for 20 seconds. And the more faction allies there are on the team, the more frequently this takes effect. So it's a really good faction bonus. And then also, after the Lord deals direct damage to an enemy, faction team members then deal 20% extra damage to that enemy within 3 seconds. So for single target damage, for going up against boss enemies, her Lord skill is second to none. She is just a beast in that respect. And we'll get to that in just a moment. But she works really well alongside her faction. So that's one big tick in the right box for Ingrid. Now, her special, well, just before we get onto that, we'll go over her range. So as you can see here, she gets the same range as we had with Dahlia, I want to say, who was recently featured, the Queen of Thorns, where she gets that range of 5 tiles right out in front of her. But it actually changes depending on the mode. So I'm not sure if they'll show it here as part of her skill. I may well need to go into the hero, into my hero. Let me just see if I have to do that. Let me rather go into my roster. I think it'll be easier for me to do it from there at least. So here she is. You can see I've got her maxed out already. Obviously, I wasn't going to hang around. But in terms of what she does, so if we go to the range, let me just see where I'm going to find it. So that is the shift. Oh man, it's kind of weird to kind of find it. Anyways, I'll try and explain it to you. So her regular range, I think it's under attributes maybe. Let's just check. So her regular attack range is this one, where she gets the 5 tiles out in front. Now that attack range applies during her AoE damage mode, which is called the solar mode for this hero. And solar mode is her AoE damage mode. The stellar mode, which is her single target damage mode, which is good for going up against boss enemies, her range changes. And her range changes to something like Comet. If I click on Comet over here, she gets that same range as you can see over there when you switch her. So you've got to be careful if you do use her on a guild boss team that you're not thinking she's going to get the 5 tiles in front of her and then switching her over into stellar mode, because she won't get that 5 tiles in front of her. Just saying. So in terms of her talent, so we'll just go over it really briefly. So it says when deployed, enters solar mode. Solar mode, as I've said, is AoE damage. She launches 4 basic attacks and turns the next basic attack into solar flare. Solar flare deals 320% AoE damage up to 15 enemies in a wide front area. So when it says wide front area, it really is just that straight line ahead of her, but she can hit 15 enemies for 320% damage, which is massive. And then the stellar mode is, it says, excelling in dealing with a single powerful enemy. She again launches 4 basic attacks and turns the next basic attack into Star Shower. So Star Shower deals 50% damage to 1 enemy in range 12 times. So instead of hitting like 12 enemies, she just does damage 12 times to a single enemy. That's kind of the basics of her. And obviously we've gone over her Lord skill as well. So the ultimate, her ultimate is literally just switching between stellar mode and solar mode. Now, how do you know which one's which? Stellar mode is like gold or yellow, and her attacks are gold or yellow. And then stellar mode is purple. So purple is the single damage mode, single target damage mode, and gold is the, I'm confusing myself, is the AoE damage mode. So that's basically all you need to know about how to switch between the two. So that is all her ultimate does. And it can be really effective. In fact, I've been using her a lot in Gear Raid 1 to try and push Gear Raid 1 because I've passed 19, I'm pushing 20 now. And I've found that she makes things so easy in terms of being able to use the AoE damage to deal with all of the enemies coming in. And then once you've dealt with them and the boss starts coming forward, you just switch over to the single target damage and she just melts him away. So she's really good for that. She does take some time to get going though, and she does build up these stacks. But you know, that being said, she is good for longer content, but she's not good for shorter battles. I don't think she's going to have a massive place in things like Arena or Guild Wars for that. Maybe in Guild Wars, but they're kind of a bit different. And she does get this Arena damage increase, so she might be good for Arena. You never know. But she takes some time to get going to her full power. And you'll see that build up as she builds up those little, I freaking don't know what it is. It's like glowy things around her head. So anyways, let's go over her basic attack. So solo mode, she deals 115% AoE damage 1 time up to 8 enemies. Stellar mode, 57% damage 2 times to 1 enemy. So you can see I can get it up to a total of 120% damage in solo mode and 60% damage in stellar mode. And then that's basically it. Celestial Wrath is her first passive. So that is where solar flare deals, sorry, hang on. We'll go over the passives separately. So Empyrean Tempest, triggering solar flare grants 1 solar energy point. Triggering Star Shower grants 1 stellar energy point. So those are the points that I'm talking about. You build up 5 energy points, and then it says each solar energy point or stellar energy point increases damage by 5%. Reaching 5 solar energy points triggers solar overload. This is what you want. This is what does the most damage. So it reduces attack interval by 15%, during which the ultimate cannot be used. So you cannot switch her over for those 20 seconds that she's in overload mode. But when she is in overload mode, she is just going to be attacking far more often, which means she's building up stacks far more often, which means she's using solar flare far more often. And that's basically it. So Empyrean Tempest is increasing the attack speed. Same thing with Stellar Overload, but she just increases, instead of the attack speed, she increases the actual attack percentage. And again, during this mode, or during this overload, the ultimate can't be used, so you cannot switch her over for those 20 seconds. Hope that makes sense. but that's basically what is happening there. Now, Celestial Wrath says here, Solar Flare deals an extra true damage one time equal to 100% of the hero's attack to enemies hit. So it's worth giving her attack bonus gear or trying to get the attack percentage up, because true damage ignores all sorts of defense. It just completely ignores any buffs that are on the enemy. It's as if they weren't there. So it is strong. And then each damage dealt by Star Shower. So Star Shower has a 20% chance of inflicting burning and 20% chance of inflicting radiant erosion. So this is Star Shower is the one that she gets in the single target mode. Burning, obviously 20% continuous magic damage. Radiant erosion is going to be, again, continuous true damage based on defense of the inflicted target every 2 seconds, stacking up to 3 times. It's better that this one works on the defense because it is in the single target mode, and that the other one works on 100% of her attack because it is in the multi-hit target where you get generally hitting weaker enemies. So yeah, that's basically the way that works. With skill ups, you can increase the true damage of Solar Flare. It says the chance of Star Shower inflicting radiant erosion increases. I mean, you really kind of want to skill this one up all the way. Pretty much all of these things are going to be worth skilling up all the way. And that is, I think that's it. Yeah, that is really it for her kit. So it looks like a lot of wording, but it's not too complicated in the way it works. You just need to take her out into the right content and she can be an excellent hero for it. So in summary, I freaking love this hero. I think she's awesome. I think it's an interesting kind of mechanic that they're using where you can switch between 2 different modes. It's kind of reminiscent of Lucius, even though he kind of does it in a different way. But she is an absolutely awesome hero, and I'm super stoked to have her. I'm sure I'm going to be using her in a lot more content. But for now, to answer the initial question, is it worth it? Yeah, it is. It really is. And you know, if you are lucky enough to have Praetus on your team, then it is even more worth it. So, you know, and if you do kind of get unlucky and you get Thalon, he's an insanely good hero as well. So this banner is awesome. Yeah, with that all being said, please do let me know what you guys think of Ingrid. And let me drop me a comment. Obviously, like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I will be putting out more content of Watcher of Realms in the near future. Obviously, as I carry on in my journey through the game, hopefully I can sort of help some of you who are struggling with certain areas and things like that. We can help each other. Drop me a comment. Let me know, you know, if I'm doing something completely wrong or I'm missing something out. I'll always read the comments. I'd be interested to know what you guys think. With that all being said, I wish you all of the best, and we will play this out with Ingrid's outro or intro video because it is just super dope. But until the next time, I wish you all the best. Bye for now.
I was born to rule, and so I shall. Step into the light of a new dawn. By the sun and stars, we will prevail.